Hello, my name is Jackson Bennett, and the purpose of this video is to educate you about the Los Angeles Black Workers Center's work to end racism, as well as support small business and entrepreneurs within Los Angeles, and how they are working to make a difference against the racist system and support black business. The history of minority-owned business is a rocky road, with decades of discrimination and blockades, and the already dangerous path of being an entrepreneur just becomes harder if you are a person of color. In this video, I will be detailing the history of people of color businesses, then move on to the Los Angeles Black Workers Center fight against racism, then finally finish with how you can help. The first resource, titled Institutional Theory and Institutional Racism, Barriers to Business, Success Faced by People of Color Entrepreneurs and the Family Firm Advantage, written by Eric R. Cushins and Mareem Angoli, show how people of color business owners fight against the racist system and how they make up for the issues they face. This relates to the Black Workers Center because it exemplifies the problems that black people face in today's world, giving reason to the Black Workers Center's fight. In this article, the idea of institutional theory, or how the institutions themselves are racist against people of color when creating a business, is vast. We see this in an ABS sample showing that white business owners are an overwhelming majority, filling up around 89% of firms, showing the ownership between different races is repeated. However, the article proposes a way these businesses combat the system, and that is through familyness. This is a practice of communities supporting their local small businesses and families doing the same. This is something that the Los Angeles Black Workers Center works on greatly. They have a large focus on bringing communities together. This still does not fully make up for the institutional bigoted system, but it can combat some of the effects. This study argues that institutional theory is very real and harmful. Existence for small businesses and people need to fight against the suppression of people of color in small business. The second resource for my research on racism, small business, and entrepreneurship is titled Minority, Black, and Non-Black People of Color, New Colorblind Racism and the U.S. Small Business Administration's Approach to Minority Business Lending in the Post-Civil Rights Era, written by Tamara K. Knopper. This relates to the Black Worker Centers because it describes another problem with the black small businesses, and that is the access to funding. In this article, Knopper speaks on the U.S. Small Business Administration, or the SBA, and how their colorblind lending practices meant to assist minority individuals can actually cause harm to people it's meant to assist. There are many ways the SBA does this. For instance, it lumps all non-whites into one big minority group and flattens important distinctions among people of color. As black people are starting off at a lower position compared to other minorities, another way they are going about helping minorities is by how they are giving out loans. Currently, the SBA guarantees loans that banks make and does not give out individual loans. And these banks give out loans based on things like credit score, employment record, and collateral, which is biased against black people. These practices led to a bias against black people's system that does not mean change is not possible. Knopper speaks on how change can be made to the SBA in order to account for black individuals better. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is involved in the fight to change these issues through voting and campaigning to make government systems like the SBA less discriminatory. Although not foolproof, Knopper argues the SBA should go back to giving out direct loans rather than giving it to the banks. This will allow for black people to be in the running for more loans and more easily, hopefully making it more fair. The third resource from my research is titled Self-Reliance and Pig Husbandry in Los Angeles Chinatown, 1880 to 1933, New Evidence from Dental Callus Analysis and Historical Records, written by Jiang Wang, Laura Y. and Tamara Serra-Levia. In this resource, we learn about how small businesses were impacted in Los Angeles in the past by racist business practices and discrimination, and the battle to survive with these barriers in place. This relates to the Black Worker Center because it gives an example of how things were in the past, not only for black people but also for Chinese immigrants facing the same problem of racism. In this article, information is set in the earlier days of Chinese immigration, where racism was high and the fight against it was a struggle. The Chinese Exclusion Acts were in place, the system was bent against them, and they had to go to food production to survive. Chinese diasporic community development a pork production system to resist racism. Pork production was the main source of money for many of these immigrants in Los Angeles at the time, and the small businesses that butchered and raised pigs were the cornerstone of Chinatown in LA. They struggled, but along the way of the struggle, they supported each other and kept money in the Chinese community. They did not rely on white-owned businesses and were very self-sufficient with the use of their limited resources, doing things like feeding pigs food scraps and rice byproducts in order to be efficient. Without these findings, these people struggling against the white man and racist policies in place against them would have gone unnoticed. The Los Angeles Black Worker Center highlights history and evidence found within history greatly to show the issue within their communities, and this resource is a great example of said history that needs to be mentioned. The fourth resource for my research is titled Community and Commerce: Oral Histories of Black Businesses in Los Angeles, written by Yolanda Hester and Teresa Bennett. This relates to the Black Worker Center because it allows us to see the personal accounts of small business owners within Los Angeles. This article dives into the personal accounts of Black business owners within Los Angeles that were beforehand never seen, as well as going into the issues they face. One of the biggest issues that are brought to attention by this article is how, in quotes, we suggest that institutional theory's neglect in accounting for institutional racism limits its explanatory ability by assuming that public and market-based institutions are bias-free. This describes how firms and institutions are based on racism, so when striving for true equality, change in the institutions must be done. People of color face a lot of problems when becoming a business owner, and capital access is a major challenge. Black entrepreneurs are almost 3 times as likely as whites to have profitability hurt by lack of access to capital. This captures perfectly how people of color, when entering business, are severely inhibited by the system due to them being discriminated against, even on things like capital investment, a crucial aspect of starting a business. The Los Angeles Black Worker Center highlights these disparities and continues to work with their community to vote and protest against these racist problems they face. The Los Angeles Black Worker Center has worked to change the political structure of Los Angeles, fighting for small businesses and entrepreneurs. One of the biggest things that the Black Worker Center pushes for is the black job crisis. The gravity of the situation is grand. Black people are not able to work nor get the same opportunities that they are able to get, so that's where the Black Worker Center comes in. They push for support and inspiration in order to employ more people rather than leaving them to struggle. There is a lack of education for young black people. Crime is rampant in majority black areas, divorce rates are high. These are all factors that can lead to less job opportunities. The Black Worker Center prioritizes the upbringing of children greatly and expresses how important it is for the futures. For example, watch this video.
Safety, crime, family, divorce, homelessness, dropouts. This is the systemic economic fallout. This is an employment crisis infecting and spreading like a virus.
We were doing good in the African American community. It'll make society stronger as a whole.
The Los Angeles Black Worker Center focuses a lot on the community building and support of local black business with gatherings and meetings. The focus on bringing everyone together is to stand up for what is right is incredibly important. Their work to change the narrative is also especially important. Politically, the Los Angeles Black Worker Center is at the forefront of the movement protesting and fighting in order to support black jobs and businesses.
And we all know when black workers don't have jobs, other problems in the community pop up. So I'm here to the board, to any contractors in here, keep black workers in mind, because we're here, we're willing, able to work, and if on a drive home, just look at the construction sites and see how many black workers you see. It's a big problem. It needs to be addressed, and give us an opportunity.
Richard Douglas is a prime example of this, and he is going to a meeting in order to be the voice for him and his peers in his local community. Making an impact in the broken American political system is almost impossible, and the Los Angeles Black Worker Center is still fighting in order to change it, and the best thing they can do is gather people and bring them together to vote and support one another. The U.S. Small Business Administration, or the SBA, is a stakeholder that attempts to support black business and the fight against racism that may be far from perfect, but it still attempts to help the massive issue. The SBA is a stakeholder in Los Angeles due to them working hard in the city, even with a lack of funding and accessibility to the communities due to manpower and time. However, in quotes, the Los Angeles District Office has continuously been ranked as the top lending office in the nation. This means that they have been giving out loans to different minority groups very effectively and one of the best at it in the nation. As stated earlier in the article, the SBA is far from perfect and has a lot of problems, but this is not due to the SBA not trying. The organization does its best to fill a much larger need than the funding and resources they are able to provide. There is a massive lack of employment for the SBA and a massive amount of people that need the support from them. The SBA is still an organization working to make a change, along with the Black Worker Center, taking an outside role due to it being a government organization that cannot protest The United Way Los Angeles organization is another organization that is fighting against the race system and support business and entrepreneurs in Los Angeles. The United Way Greater Los Angeles is a stakeholder due to them working with communities and minority small businesses within LA to support entrepreneurs. This support includes training, planning, access to capital, and business education. This effectively attacks the real problem with black business, which is the lack of educational systems and support. This stakeholder group is important as they attack the problem of racism in Los Angeles, specifically with small businesses. Education is the most important part of early life for children. That is why people are willing to spend so much money to send their kids to private school. However, people that do not have the money to send their kids to private school are at a loss. So, the United Way Los Angeles is one of the organizations fighting to improve the education of people of color. Education has a direct impact on the future jobs that people can obtain, and due to the lack of it in impoverished areas, the idea of nicer, highly educated jobs doesn't exist, but creating the opportunity is so incredibly important.
We're experiencing growing inequality in California, and the work of the United Way with California is essentially to look at how we can direct some of our investments to really support those around the state who need that extra boost.
At first, you feel like you're worth nothing, but some people, all they need is a start.
United Ways of California and local United Ways are helping families in California in so many different ways.
Small businesses are the cornerstone of every community, and people of color are discriminated against, making it harder for them to create communities and bring people together with their businesses. So finally, I will ask you this question: what are you going to do? Just like many of the groups that I've spoken about before with family and community members, small businesses can be helped by supporting the Los Angeles Black Workers Center or other adjacent groups, which is a great way to help, whether that be donating or volunteering. The most important thing is that you and the listener are aware of these groups and the issue. You don't even have to volunteer or donate. Just keep tabs on the Black Workers Center and other groups and see what they are fighting for, and vote with them. Use your voice to the government. Another way that is a great way of helping is by searching on apps like Yelp, Black owned. And these apps will be able to provide you with small businesses that are Black owned and give you a good starting place for you to bring your business to.